Hey y'all, it's Danielle Branche-Brown, and I wanted to share something about internal family systems or inner child work that I actually had like really solidified for me by an anime. And yes, I am a black nerd. I'm a blurred, right? And I'm proudly so. My favorite television show of all time is Naruto. See me about it. I mean, I don't care. Anyway, I digress. I'll talk about that later. But this episode is an episode where Naruto, spoiler alert, by the way, like if you're gonna watch Naruto and you haven't like seen a lot of it, I'm like this is a pretty big part of the show. But anyhow, he goes up to this waterfall, right? And his trainer, right, this person who is like bringing him to enlightenment and trying to like take him to the next level or whatever, takes him to this waterfall, and he says, just go and sit and you'll meet yourself there, right? And so he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So out of this waterfall, right, as Naruto is sitting, comes another version of himself, right? He comes out swinging, okay? So this other version of himself comes out and he like immediately is fighting him, right? So he's like fighting himself and they like going at it back and forth and neither one of them can win, right? So eventually Naruto stops and he like goes back to this mentor, right, or this god, and he's like, yo, like, I can't beat him. He's me. He knows all of my moves, right? Like he can combat all of my moves. We literally just going back and forth, right? Like it's like I don't know how I'm supposed to beat him. And he looks at him. He says, "This is Killer B. If you are an anime fan, a Naruto fan." He looks at him. He says, "I never really told you to fight him. That's not really what I told you to do. So like go back to the waterfall and like figure it out. Do it differently because that's not what I told you to do." So Naruto goes back to the waterfall, right? And the other version of himself comes back out of the waterfall and he like immediately comes to try to fight him. And Naruto just doesn't fight him at all. He just like sitting there letting this version of himself fight him, right? And the other version was like, what are you doing? Like, fight me? Like, why won't you fight me? Da, da, da. He's like, I'm not going to fight you. And so then as Naruto chooses not to fight with this other younger version of himself, this internal version of himself, it now gives the other version of himself space to actually speak, right? So he says, like angrily with like tears and fury, honestly, he's like, how could you do this to us? Like, how are you out here trying to help all these people? Did you not remember where we come from? Like, do you not remember how all these people treated us? Like, are you not angry? Like, are you not resentful? And so he's like speaking about like the hatred that lives in his heart based off of all of his different experiences and things like that. Like, how can you be this like good, evolved, helpful, light, love person with all this other stuff, right? And Naruto looks at the other version of himself. He says, of course I haven't forgotten. I'll never forget, right? I have been angry, and I am in some ways still angry. Like, of course I'm not going to forget. And also, like, I'm not going to stay here, right? Like, I choose light and love. And these are not his words, right? But these are my words, my interpretation of it. So then comes the core, like the core stuff that really hit me. The other version of Naruto says, so if you're doing all this evolving and growing and moving on and all this other kind of stuff, what is going to happen to me? All right, so this is what his internal self, his younger self, the other version of himself is fearful of, is worried about. He's like, what's going to happen to me? And he looks at him with so much love in his eyes, tears in his face, and smile on his face. He says, nothing. You become me. You become me. All right. This is such a beautiful illustration of integration, right? They're both with tears in their eyes, embracing, right? As this other version of himself melts away, like evaporates and folds in to who he is becoming and who he is. Oh my gosh, just beautiful illustration. Anyway, I know this was a long post and I don't care, but I just really wanted to share that because it really does, for me, illustrate internal family systems and what integration can look like very well. All right, so if you stuck around for this whole video, congratulations. Okay, you learned something today. But no, comment below if you are also an anime fan or if you love Naruto, and let me know who your favorite character is. Right, I actually don't know anybody who can like fully. No, I know one person who has an actual favorite character, but like if you do, put them in the comments.